Hi there, welcome to the Gardens and Graveyard channel. My name is Charisma and today we're meeting in the garden and we're going to just go around and get all of our tender perennials and put them in nursery containers to store in the greenhouse for the winter. It is the first week of October and we have beautiful days ahead of us for the next week or so, but I know that the rainy season is coming and there's much to do in the garden as far as pruning and planting bulbs and different, I need to transplant some shrubs, stuff like that's gonna happen. So I wanna get some of these containers empty. We worked on removing all of the annuals a couple days ago. Now we're going to remove all of the perennials that I have in containers and take a quick look around the landscape. I don't think I have anything in the landscape that I'm going to pull out today, except, nope, those are in containers as well. So just some transplanting of tender perennials. These are perennials that would probably last in our landscape if I left them in the containers over winter. But because they've already been disturbed with removing the annuals, I'm going to be doing a completely different plan with all of my containers next year. And I would like to just empty them out and start fresh with new soil, new bulbs, the whole bit. I'm just going to take the opportunity to store these perennials in the greenhouse. Any perennial that I'm pulling out to put in the greenhouse, they are considered tender perennials because they're the lowest zone that they will winter over in is my zone. So like these perennials that I'm going to be pulling out are perennials in zone 9A to 11B, and we are in a zone 9A. So which means it's like we're right on the border, and in a container you really want your shrubs, trees, and perennials to be 2 zones below. So if they were a zone 7, I would be like, they're totally good for the winter and I know that they'll last until the next year. But if we get some sort of a freak freeze, I might lose them. And because I want these particular perennials to be in my landscape next year as a part of the color scheme that I'm going for next year, I want to overwinter them and make sure that they stay so that I can just add to them next year rather than having to buy them again in addition to the other colors that I want. So I'm going to turn the camera around, show you what we're looking at, and get into the project. So I have myself a little kit here. I've got some fresh potting mix. I've got a stack of different sizes of nursery pots, a trowel, a nailing pad, some gloves, and I don't really expect to use very much soil because I am going to be pulling the perennials out of pots. I don't have any fertilizer because everything's going to go dormant and we don't need it to like get boosted into thinking that it needs to grow. And all of these will go back in the landscape in March or April. So in this first container, I have a miniature rose and Dusty Miller. I'm not going to keep the miniature rose. We're going to do something different with roses next year. And if I want miniature roses to be added back in, they're easy to come by. So we're going to nix the miniature rose. I'm going to transplant the Dusty Miller. Later, in the next couple of weeks, I am going to take cuttings so that I have a ton of this Dusty Miller. But we could do that in the greenhouse once it's out of the landscape. Then I'm going to check these pots and see if there's any bulbs left because I had daffodils in them. I cannot remember if I removed them and stored them or if I left those pots with daffodils. So we'll see. It might be a surprise. And then we'll remove the daffodils if they're in there to replant, and then we will get rid of the soil and move on to the next pots. I do have some bulbs in that basket that I need to save, so I'll be doing that and empty that container, get rid of the basket. It's done. We've had it in the landscape for a couple of seasons and now it's just like, it's so done. I might maybe be able to work it into my autumn display. Those things are fine. What else was I gonna do up here? Oh, over here we have 2 different kinds of snapdragons that I'm going to transplant. I'm going to actually put those in the landscape at the end. So we'll do that. We'll cut them down. We'll make an arrangement and just get the roots in the ground somewhere else. We're going to transplant this verbena into a container. We're going to remove this lemon balm. I have a fresh pot of lemon balm over there. We're going to just take this out and compost it. Well, we might just yeah, I'm not going to mess with it because it has a lot of sun damage. It's not the most ideal for tea. And I've got tons of dried lemon balm in the kitchen already. So we're just going to literally remove it and get rid of this pot from this area. We're going to move this bay topiary out of this area and move it up closer to the house. And I have a couple of cashmere verbenas up there that we're going to put into pots. And I would like to also transplant the shamrocks and the copa that's up on the porch. Right there. There's bulbs in here. Yeah. So.
Bulbs. Bulbs.
This first.
Oh, yeah. Almost had a shovel in this one. Hard for me. What is it called again?
Like 50 or 60 bulbs in each one of these. And then, you know, of course they've multiplied. I know there's daffodils.
Yeah.
Like a big
Yeah,
a big
yeah.
selection of daffodils. See there,
Yeah.
mom, baby. They're like, they're almost like a mat, and they're like all rooted together.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Okay.
There it is.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
There's another really big bulb right here.
Yeah. It's Overwinter. Pushing.
Okay. So then, see, like, this is coming up from its root, and that's this.
Yeah,
every
right.
piece of root in this container will be a plant if we don't throw it away.
Right.
Like, if it goes in the compost, it'll just be
Right.
a lemon balm bin.
Bomb baby.
And it's not anywhere at the top of my favorite herbs anyway. It's like super tasty with like 2 leaves in a drink. And it creates like a million leaves. And the dry herb, it just tastes dusty.
Oh yeah.
Like it doesn't make a good like tea.
Garnish. Yeah.
Well, not like it's a good garnish, but garnishes are only 2 to 5 leaves.
Right.
But like mint, if I save it and dry it, it makes a delicious tea.
Right.
This just tastes like dust. Let's see, it's got these huge roots in
I'm
it.
sure they're probably going to you've been in there a couple of years now, haven't you?
Yeah, at least 3, if not 4 years, because it was down there.
And maybe rooted into the ground.
Let's make sure this doesn't get too heavy. Switch bags.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's really... For this verbena, I'm gonna cut it down to make a compact crown and put it in this container for the winter. It's done a little spreading, which is nice. Okay, so I need fresh soil in that, but this is trash. Move these things out. Over and self-heal. All right, so now I'm up on the deck and there's just a couple more plants to transplant. It got a little late in the day, so I'm not gonna get to my snapdragons because I have to prepare the bed to transplant those. So we'll do that in another video, probably tomorrow. And then I'm trying to think if there's one plant, two plants in the backyard that I'm gonna try to get potted up before we end the video. So let's move into this. Up here on the deck, I just have a pink cashmere verbena that came out of our deck railing pots when we cleared out the annuals, and you can see it's still holding its shape. So I'll knock off some of that soil and put it in a container to save. And then I have another one that's a little bit smaller of the pink cashmere. And then I have this Barcopa, this white trailing plant. This is a snowstorm, I think, proven winter's Barcopa. So we're gonna cut this back, so again the canopy's nice and tight, and we'll put it in a container. And then I have these shamrocks that will they'll go dormant in the winter time, but I want to get them in the container that I want them to live in the moon garden, so I'm gonna do that up here. So first things first, let's cut back the Bacopa and get it potted up, and These Bacopas, I've never tried it with the Proven Winners variety, but this is a type of plant that you could take cuttings from and make a whole bunch of plants if you wanted. I don't really want to do that, and they're really easy to come by if it doesn't survive the winter. So yeah, just gonna save it if I can. It's always fun to save things over winter if possible. This might be one that I've had for a couple of years. I had one in the back deck pots, and I think this is the one that I transplanted out of there because I did a different design this year. Hi, Ginger. And now we have just a little bit of cleanup to do and no more plants up on the deck, which feels great for the season. All right, so this is the last bit that I want to save that are in containers. So we have this coleus. This is a Proven Winners coleus. Not sure which one this is. Color Blaze Sedona Sunset. So this will grow in sun or shade. We had it in shade. It didn't grow that well. Like, it's alive, but it's not thriving. It says it's an annual acceptance zones 10A to 11B, and it's hardy to 35 degrees. So there's a slight possibility that I can overwinter this in the greenhouse, which I just want to try and see if it works. We are a zone 9A, which is a whole zone below what they say will overwinter. But I feel like if it was protected in the greenhouse, that it's not going to get below 35 in there. We'll see. In deep winter, we might hit like 32 outside temperatures. So in the greenhouse, it stands a chance, right? So I just wanna see if I can do it. And then the other thing I want to say, because I have not come across one of these before, this is a trailing fuchsia, and it's called autumnal. And fuchsias do overwinter in our garden. It says this one will or not. Grown as an annual or winter over indoors. So we're gonna try it. I forgot to tell Spencer to not water this pot because I forgot about it. So it's a little wet. It's okay. I'm not sure if I need to like cut these back. And try to save as many of the roots as I can. All right, so as far as clearing out containers and saving perennials goes, we are done for today. I do have snapdragons and a couple of different containers that I'm going to transplant out into the landscape. We're going to do that on a different day because I need to prepare the bed for it. And then I have a few things in the greenhouse that I had hoped to get to and clear out. Like we've peppers and tomatoes are done, they need to be cleared out. And then I've got a couple of hanging baskets that I want to disassemble and put together, or disassemble and save the plants like we did with these today. I'm just a little bit out of time. We're gonna get the shamrocks in to the moon garden, and that is gonna be it for today. Instead of taking these out of this container as they're going dormant, I'm just gonna make room in this container to sink the container of shamrocks down inside. They'll be protected over winter, and they won't be so disturbed right now. So that's what I'm gonna do. Just sink it in there. And with the soil around it, it'll give it a little bit of protection. Add a little bit more. And then we need to water them, clearly. So here's the collection of plants that we pulled out of containers today. We need to get them watered in. Spencer will probably do that while I take this and put it away. We've got our debris. Excuse the shadow. This is a container full of bulbs that we pulled out. These are all daffodils. And then we had some naked ladies and some other variety of squill or something from the basket. And then just like materials that we used for the project. So we ended up with 2 pink cashmere verbena, which is this here, and 1 hot pink or fuchsia verbena, which looks like this but hot pink. And we cut that one back quite a bit. I do need to cut this one back, which I'll do before it goes in the greenhouse. We cut this one back. We've got the trailing fuchsia, the coleus, the dusty miller. We have a little ice plant that I saved from one container. And then we have, oh, this is the verbena. This is the bacopa. 2 bacopas. And then I had little baby plants that I need to do something with. This is a begonia and a geranium. So yeah, that's our little collection of perennials. Like I said, I'll probably do a flat of cuttings on that dusty miller for next spring. And then let's just go ahead and take a look and see. Like, this is where we had 1 container and another container. We are gonna revamp this whole flower bed next spring, so you won't really notice that hole in time. We're gonna get new roses and transplant this burning bush. All kinds of fun things are gonna happen. So I just wanted to really get all the containers out of the garden so that we can reimagine what the garden's gonna look like. So I removed the basket that was there. We do have a little collection of pots up here that are gonna get moved when we do our fall containers, which we're gonna do a whole collection of fall containers and pumpkins and fun things all up here. So I've been collecting all the empty containers. I moved this bay topiary over here, and then we emptied a container down here. So the bay was right here. We moved it out of there. There's another container here that had lemon balm, and we got rid of all the lemon balm. We did throw out the lemon balm and all of its roots and soil because it's in the mint family, and it will just take over any place. So if I were to throw that in the compost, I would just have a huge bin of lemon balm, and I don't need that much lemon balm. I have a container over there with lemon balm in it, and that's really all that I need. And then up on the deck, I got rid of a couple of plants that I was holding over until this time of year. You saw me pot up the coleus and the trailing fuchsia from the backyard, and you saw me place the shamrocks in their temporary home in the moon garden. We'll get into the greenhouse, clean it up, get these plants after they've been watered in tonight and drained. Then tomorrow we could take them into the greenhouse and make space for them. And we're like so close to not have any, plants in baskets and containers around the garden. I'm really looking forward to just having like a new plan and a new design, because that is the joy and the benefit of gardening, is we're always redesigning. We're always getting to dream up new ways to live in our space, to make it more beautiful, to make it more sacred, to make it easier to garden, to make it more pleasant to be in, and more pleasant for people to visit. So yeah, we've been here for almost 8 years, and it's just been really fun to just keep honing the spaces to really reflect where we are in our lives. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you're celebrating your life, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.